YouTube Wagwan. Welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you stopping by, as always. Please subscribe to the channel for more content like this, for more content by me. Let's get right into today's topic. Why don't men go to therapy? Now, before I get into this video, I just want to say I'm not a professional on this topic. This is based on solely my opinion. I did look up one stat, but that's about it. Everything else about this video is all my opinion. Why don't men go to therapy? So statistics shows that women are about 1.5 to 3 times more likely to go to therapy than men. So that means about 60 to 75% of people who go to therapy are women. So why aren't men going? I feel like most men look at therapy as a waste of time. Most men think that therapy is something that's only going to benefit a woman. It's not going to benefit them. Talking about your feelings all day is probably not going to work for a man. I think that's the average man's mindset. Men aren't looking to talk about their feelings endlessly for hundreds and thousands of hours, spending tens and thousands of dollars doing so. Men feel like real results come from taking action, not talking. You got to take action as a man, and men know that. So they don't want to sit around and talk about it. They don't want to discuss it. I also think that men feel like therapy makes you look weak in the eyes of many, in the eyes of women, in the eyes of other men. And that in itself goes against everything that we were taught growing up in society today. That goes against everything we learned. You have to be strong. You have to be tough. You have to be able to endure pain. Men feel like they go into therapy. They feel like that's a weak look on them. Like, how can you be a strong leader and guide those who look to you for guidance if you need help yourself? And although you may need help, you don't want to admit that to yourself. You don't want to admit that to others. As a man, I feel like this is the mindset of most men. I can't go to therapy. If I go to therapy, I'm going to look weak. Or those around me who know I'm going to therapy, they might not look to me for guidance anymore. They might not look at me as a good leader anymore because I need help. And on top of that, there's certain type of women out there who will judge you just for that in itself. Just going to therapy. They might judge you for that. And we know as men, nowadays women will use any excuse to attack your masculinity. We're not giving y'all more ammo. And honestly, going to therapy won't make you look weak in most women's eyes. Most women will be okay with you going to therapy. They won't look at you as any less of a man. But then you have some men who aren't even just looking at how it may look to other women. They thinking, how would it look to men? How will I look in the eyes of my friends if I'm going to therapy? Honestly, I know some people who've gone to therapy as men and they kept it a secret. I didn't find out for years, actually. I think one of them was probably a year. The other one was a couple of years. Just wouldn't tell the friend group. Kept it to themselves. Wouldn't tell anybody. One day it finally came up and they admitted like, yeah, I go to therapy. Just like, why didn't I know that? Why didn't any of us know that? And it's just, I think most men are embarrassed at that. They don't want people to know that they go into therapy. They don't want people to know that they don't want people to know that they're seeking mental help. Women will tell their friends they go into therapy before they even start going to therapy. Women will tell their friends they go into therapy the moment they start thinking about going to therapy. I think generally men just don't want to admit that they need help when they need it. Men want to be able to do everything on their own and not show that they need the help of someone else. Like I said before, how can I be strong for those around me if I'm seeking help from somewhere else? And that's not my thinking. I don't think like that. I'm not saying that's the way I feel. I just think that's generally how men look at it. On top of it just simply being a waste of time to them. They don't feel like talking about their problems to a therapist is going to solve anything. Men need actions. They need results. They don't want to talk about feelings. I feel like therapy in itself probably won't even help most men. Most men don't want to feel pitied. And I think going to therapy, you might get the feeling that you are feeling pitied. So I don't think therapy always works for a man, although I believe it can. And I believe there are a lot of men it will work for. I think as men, we need other ways to get help. Men tend to be more logical, more rational. We approach our difficulties from a problem-solving perspective. Not saying that some men aren't emotional in their decision-making skills, but statistically speaking, the majority of men are more logical and rational in decision-making skills rather than emotional. Even though if you ask most women today, most men are emotional and sassy. Anyway, men face mental health issues every day, just like women do. But men rather boggle it up inside rather than talking about it. Most men won't go to a therapist. Most men won't even go to their girl to talk about it because they feel like if I open up, maybe I might get judged and looked at as less of a man if I open up to my girl about something like that. But I say if you don't feel comfortable talking to your girl about it, you can always talk to the boys about it. You can always talk to the homies about it. I got one of my boys. I would say one of my boys, me and him, my best friend. I would say me and him are each other's therapists. Because when he need to talk about something, he'll talk to me 100%. And I'll do the same thing for him. And we do this on a regular basis. We are each other's outlet when it comes to something like that. And I feel like men need an outlet in a man's space because society does look to us for guidance. And maybe going to a therapist and spending all this type of money is not the right idea for a man. But you do need to talk to somebody sometimes, whether it's your brother, whether it's your best friend, your father. Men need to open up. Women do beg for us to open up to them, and they've been doing this for years and years and years. Open up, show more feeling, talk to me. But I think a lot of men have come to the realization that when you open up, you might get looked at differently. Although a lot of times women don't know that they're going to look at you differently for opening up to them. And I think men know that. So they tend to not open up and try to seem like they tougher than they are, harder than they are. But go talk to somebody. Go holler at your boy. You know who's not going to look at you differently? Your homies, your boys. So if you a guy and you feel like you need therapists, I would say try it out. I'm not here to say that it won't work because I think it does work for some guys. So if you're a man and you looking for therapy, I would say give it a try because men do need mental health outlets just like women do. We might go about it in different ways, but it is still needed. So if that's something that you're considering, I would say go ahead and give it a try. But if that's not something you want to do, you still need to have an outlet somewhere. So I would say talk to your friends, talk to your brother, talk to your father, talk to somebody that you could trust to get things off your chest. This was a light video, just had to drop something real quick. Please like and subscribe, share, send this to somebody who may need to hear it. I appreciate you stopping by. Peace.